others, and I just love what you do with the words, and thank you for coming on, by the way.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, well, I'm sure we'll see you online again, and we really appreciate you coming on and reading some poetry for us.
Thank you so much. I loved it.
All right.
Anytime you want to submit again to us, feel free.
Oh, I definitely will. You'll be my top choice.
Thank you.
All right, talk to you soon.
Thank you.
And that's Lumerians with Burning Mirrors. And
Very cool.
yeah, definitely got a nice beat there.
Got me bouncing.
Yeah, I don't know how you find all these bands, man. You'd like find some really good music.
It's meant to be.
But we are working on having our own theme song soon, right?
Yeah, it's Gary Coates, performed by Gary Coates. He has a page on Reverb Nation. His outfit, his musical outfit is called Love Under Will, and I had a very nice conversation with him a few days ago about what kind of theme song we're shooting for, and I don't know, I think I like the idea of getting permission from other bands to use their music too, but I do think we need a strong opening and close, and or intro and outro, and I thought that Gary, he's right here, and I could talk to him about it, and he'd be fairly, easily persuaded to do so. And I know that his music leans towards the industrial, but he's with me as far as capturing, what does surreal sound like? And he's very keyed into that because one of his favorite artists is Amanda Gallus with a creepy voice. Am I alone on that? Anybody know?
I don't know who that is, but...
Okay. Well, she's worked with Marilyn Manson and I think Clive Barker, and she covered Billie Holiday's Hungarian suicide song. It was which there's a nice backstory behind that. It was radio execs heard the song and asked Billie Holiday to change up the lyrics after there was a massive rate of suicides after hearing that song in its original form, which was very depressing. And I think it's called Hungarian Love Song or Hungarian Suicide Song. But Gary Coates shared that story with me. So he's a huge music enthusiast, and he gravitates towards the dark and the weird, the bizarre, the grotesque, the surreal. So I thought he was a perfect choice, and I can't wait to see what he cooks up for us under the Love Under Will banner.
Sounds good.
And I'm not too up on my legal stuff, Daniel. I never professed to be an expert in legal matters, but I was digging through some old papers earlier, and I found the old letter from Harlan Ellison when I first wrote him to ask him, what do I need to do to be like you? I basically threw myself on the mercy of the court of Ellison, and I wanted to read it on the podcast, but maybe I should wait until we get kind of a feel for if we're legally entitled to do so, or what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's not like you're reading his... I don't know. It's like he wrote it to you, so...
But that would make it fall under private, wouldn't it? I don't know what the legal status is that wraps around that. I could do it as a sort of bold artistic act, but I've seen, he doesn't stop at a cease and desist. He'll show up on your doorstep with a ball bat, and so maybe I should, wait and see what sort of reaction we might get from listeners and readers of the magazine, who might have a better idea than we about this. But it's a very interesting letter. And it actually did encourage me in a lot of ways, but I think I'll hold off until next week if if I think we can get the go-ahead, I guess the easiest way to do it would be to get permission from Ellison, but I'm scared.
I'd be scared too if I were you.
Yeah. So let's just forget I said anything about it for now, and
Now that you've piqued everyone's curiosity.
Well, if they really want it, maybe they'll ask for me.
We should all have a Harlan Ellison writing campaign where we all write him.
I have no doubt that Harlan would probably disapprove of our outfit with Surreal Grotesque, and the fact that we're doing a podcast and basically everything, that we do, even breathing. So,
I mean,
he's still a damn good writer. So
he definitely is. I mean, and he's great with titles. I mean, I have no mouth, but I must scream, and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, or what's the other one? Repent, Harlequin, says the TikTok man. Just some random titles.
I'm trying to think. The greatest story I've ever read from Harlan Ellison, and I was rereading this the other day, is Hitler Painted Roses. About Hitler painting roses on a wall in hell, and the devil is telling Hitler about a nice flower pattern he saw on someone's wallpaper up on Earth, and Hitler's just like, And see, Ellison would hate that description too. I'm sure he would think I eviscerated his work, but let's see, A to Z, Chocolate Alphabet, that's another good one that's very surreal. Well, speaking of surreal, I think it's about time for us to get to our next guest, Bruce Taylor. I'm a little nervous for this one, too.
Okay, well, we will call him up right now, and we'll be right back. And that is Orchid with He Who Walks Alone off their album Capricorn. And we're back with Bruce Taylor. Jeremy?
Bruce, it's great to speak to you. And I have to say I'm a little nervous here because I've just immersed myself in your writing for months now, and I can't believe how receptive you were to coming on the podcast with us. I want you to thank you for doing so.
Like I said, I'm honored and I'm delighted, and I'm just curious, where did you find out about my material or me?
Believe it or not, I found out about you through the whole Bizarro community because I believe that you're under the Fantastic Planet Books banner, which is run by Cameron Pierce, right?
Yes.
And the cover by Hawk Voigt, that is actually what captured my interest first. I judged the book by its cover, oddly enough, and what I found between the pages of Metamorphosis Blues, I mean, it just spoke to me so sincerely, and especially the first story. But I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I want to cover everything that we possibly can about you, introduce you to our audience. So, why don't you start out by telling us, we're not dealing with a lightweight here. You're a professor emeritus, correct?
Professor?
Are you a professor?
Okay, no. I'm just a writer.
Okay. Well, Goodreads, I think Goodreads has you mixed up with another Bruce Taylor then.
Probably. It's kind of a name that's kind of out there. That's a very common name.
But I would not be incorrect in saying that you did have a collaboration called Storm World with Brian Herbert, would I?
That is correct.
Okay, and is that the one with the comet made of garbage hitting Earth?
Well, that's Sydney's comet. That's Brian's own work.
Okay.
The one that's ours, there's one that came out in 2010, a smaller version that has a terrific cover by Vladimir Verano, who runs the Espresso book machine out here in Seattle, a machine that makes a book in 10 minutes. And it has a beautiful shot of a hurricane hitting the Pacific Northwest. And the book was then taken over by Kevin J. Anderson on his Wordfire Press site in a much larger edition, and that cover
talking about your style when you first came on. There's a delicateness of narrative with your work. Do you have to work at that, or does that come naturally? I mean,
it just one thing I've a long story here. When I first started writing a long time ago, I'm almost 66. I've been writing since I was about 10 or 11. And I didn't get published really until much later. But I've always had a sense of, especially when I ran into folks like Bradbury, there's a sense of writing that felt exploratory to me, felt more like an artistic mode. And that's what I take after. I very much love Bradbury's work. I'm also a fan of Kafka. I'm also very much a fan of the work of a lot of the magic realists, writers out of South America, what they did. And kind of the idea is that after a long time of writing, I began to see that a lot of my writing didn't really work for like mainstream publishers because it was just non-formula. And I realized before long that what I was really doing, what I was really interested in, was just tracking imagination and seeing where imagination went. And so there are times I wrote like five or six stories a day, sometimes 40 stories a month. And it was just being high on wherever writing took me without paying an awful lot of attention to publication. It was like, where does this next story go? What's going to happen next? And it was really enjoying and loving the type of writing that I love to read. And then look at publication, that's well and good, but it was more like just wanting to go with words and imagination, and finally ended up with around I regret this but somewhere around 900 stories, I think.
wow.
Or more, somewhere around up there, 800, 900. And a lot of the stories have never ever been gone over again. They were written and I go on to the next one. I just kept on doing that, and all of a sudden I'm going like, I have got to do something. I got to do something with this, don't I? So it's just fun. It's just a sheer exuberance of the fascination of where imagination takes one.
Looks like Bradbury said you have to stay drunk on writing so reality could not destroy you. And based on your body of work, what you said, 900 stories, reality doesn't stand a chance against you.
No. No.
Now, how did you get how did you adapt the nickname Mr. Magic Realism?
I think that came about, how'd that happen? As I was writing, probably through the 80s, I kept hearing the term fabulous literature. I kept hearing about South American writers, and I finally got a book called Eye of the Heart by Barbara Howes. It was a big anthology and collection of kind of fantastic fiction out of South America, published originally in 1973. Great cover, and brought by, Bard Avon